15 years. No one ever hit me. No one screamed at me. No one called me names. And yet my life was slowly taken away from me. I just didn't realize it until everything was already over. My name is Sarah. I'm 40 years old now. 5 months ago, I woke up alone in an empty apartment. And for the first time in a decade and a half, I didn't feel panic. I didn't feel fear. I felt air in my lungs. Freedom doesn't always arrive loudly. Sometimes it arrives quietly, when the weight finally lifts and you realize how heavy it had been all along. I met him when I was 25. He was older, confident, admired by others. He didn't dominate the room, he controlled it calmly. People trusted him instantly, and I trusted him too. At first, everything felt safe. He listened carefully. He remembered small details. He said things like, "I just want what's best for you, and I'm thinking long term." It sounded like love. The first thing I lost wasn't my freedom, it was my certainty. Decisions became discussions. Discussions became explanations. Explanations became corrections. Not arguments, lessons. He never told me I was wrong directly. He just explained things patiently, like I needed guidance. Over time, I stopped trusting my own instincts. Money came next. It started with convenience, shared plans, shared goals, then shared control. He tracked expenses not with anger, but with concern. We need to be smart. I just want us to be secure. I began justifying every purchase in my head before making it. I returned things I liked without being asked, not because he forced me, but because disappointing him felt unbearable. Then came the silence. He never forbade me from seeing friends. He just became distant afterward. Quiet, cold, unreachable. I learned quickly that independence had consequences. So I chose peace over connection, home over friends, compliance over conflict. Little by little, my world shrank. It was just always visible. Questions were framed as curiosity. Doubt was framed as care. I explained myself constantly, and somehow I always felt guilty. Not for cheating, not for lying, just for existing independently. The most dangerous part wasn't what he did, it was what I became. I became careful, measured, small. I edited myself before speaking. I dressed to avoid comments. I planned my days around his moods. I called it love. It was survival. Years passed. People called us stable, successful, calm. They didn't see how much effort it took to stay invisible. They didn't see how tired I was. I didn't see it either, until one day I realized I no longer knew what I wanted. Not big dreams, small things, food, music, silence. I had outsourced my inner life. Leaving didn't happen after a fight. It happened after a realization. I was disappearing. Slowly, politely, permanently. Walking away was terrifying. Not because I feared him, but because I didn't trust myself anymore. That's what quiet control steals. Not your freedom first, your confidence. 5 months ago, I woke up alone. I made coffee the way I like it. I wore something bright. I spent money without explaining it to anyone. Small acts, radical freedom. Abuse doesn't always look like violence. Sometimes it looks like reason. Sometimes it sounds like concern. Sometimes it feels like safety, until you realize you've been suffocating. If you're constantly monitoring yourself to keep someone else comfortable, that's not love. If your peace depends on your silence, that's not partnership. I lost 15 years without a bruise to prove it, but I got myself back. And that matters more than staying polite in a cage. If any part of this story felt familiar, know that you're not alone. You don't have to explain anything. One sentence in the comments is enough. A like helps this story quietly reach someone who might need it right now. And if you want to hear more honest, unfiltered stories like this, you can follow the channel.